Now we are traveling along some of the 160 miles of track that were laid down on the bottom of the canal, track that constantly had to be shifted as the shovels dug away at Mother Earth. Right at this spot in the picture, modern Grace liners float on a watery bridge that rises 45 feet from where these rails are. In the distance now, the lines of tracks are to be seen, and also one gets an idea of the width of the canal. Originally specified to be 200 feet in width at the bottom, President Roosevelt, TR that was, ordered the dimensions changed to 300 feet, costing the United States an extra $13 million, and well worth it. Local and white labor were employed in the building of the canal, the white labor being called the gold standard, the native labor the rest. Here's one of the native signalmen. The government kept one of these men, flag in hand, at every switch in Culebra Cut. It had to, for every minute and a half during the peak of activity in Culebra, a train loaded with dirt rumbled on its way to Gatun Dam and Locks. And despite that, it was almost impossible to keep enough empty cars on hand to tax the capacity of the 101 steam shovels used. This is one of the locomotives used to haul the dirt trains. We might add, as we wait for one of these many dirt trains, each with 21 loaded cars to pass, a few moments ago we said that the government used 101 shovels. Some of them were left by the French, who, under de Lesseps, builder of the Suez Canal, first started work back in 1882. These, however, are good old American shovels. They are working here just past the sheer face of Culebra at the lowest point of the cut, the very real bottom of the Panama Canal.
A canal connects two bodies of water that may have different water levels. Ships traveling through the canal move from one water level to another through a lock, a rectangular chamber with watertight gates at each end. In the lock, the level of water can be raised and lowered by a system of valves and water passages. Suppose a ship is traveling from the higher water level to the lower. First, an operator at a nearby station opens the lock gates at the high end. The ship enters the lock, and the lock gates are closed. Next, the lock operator opens one or more valves so that water from the lock slowly drains into the lower section of the canal. When the water in the lock is level with the lower water, the operator opens the gates and the ship sails through.
Panama, at the narrowest part of the American continent, is the center of the world in many ways. It has been for centuries a door for an ever-expanding network of human transit. This small but influential country is the host of the Panama Canal, a 20th century engineering marvel. Since its opening in 1914, it has provided world markets with a time cost-effective crossing between the Atlantic and Pacific Oceans. To meet the demands of globalization, the Panama Canal Authority has launched an expansion program to offer maritime trade a third lane of transit, one able to cross post-Panamax vessels from one ocean to the other. This $5.2 billion investment involves projects on water and land to accommodate the new locks and improve the navigation channel for larger ships. The new locks will be 30% larger than the current locks and could fit 3 Empire State Buildings lengthwise in its chambers. To ensure a sustainable use of water, the lock's design includes 3 water-saving basins per chamber, allowing 60% of water to be reused in each transit. The third set of locks will open and close its chambers with double sliding steel gates. On average, each one of the 16 gates required will weigh approximately 3,300 tons. Built by Italian company Cimolai, the first 4 gates were delivered on August 20th at a special dock in Cologne and will be transported to their lockheads for placing in the Atlantic project later this year. Just as the construction of the Panama Canal changed the course of history almost a century ago, today's expansion represents a game change for traders and consumers alike. The path is set, the walls grow tall. This is history in the making, and this small but influential nation at the center of the world meets this challenge with accountability, courage, and vision.